going on, everybody? It's your boy Mood616 back in the his house for another DVD slash Blue Rizzle update for y'all. This is going to be everything I picked up in the month of January. So it's going to be a very, very small update, something that you guys are probably not used to, but I'm going to make a habit of doing because the hour-long updates are fun to do, but they take an hour and change to do. So, but yeah, I'm going to try and do these monthly. So this is everything I've actually accumulated in January since I have not gotten a thing in February yet. So this is literally everything I've got since my last update. So, yeah, without further ado, I do actually have a bunch of stuff coming in the mail though. I just haven't received them. And it's because our Canada Post just sucks really. I haven't received anything this whole week. It's just so strange when I think about it, considering how much stuff I have in the mail. But anyways, I digress. First up here, man, I did get a birthday package from my homeboy, Zach. It is definitely a little bit late considering my birthday was in October, but it's the thought that counts, right? Really. So no, I am very appreciative of this. I do talk to Zach every single day in a couple of my chats and stuff. He's just really, really not great with sending out packages. Actually, I think he has a phobia of filling out the, the customs form for international shipping. He doesn't like to write small. He actually told me that. I believe him too. Most people probably wouldn't believe that excuse, but I actually believe him because he's a little bit quirky. He's a 6'9" quirky giant. But first up, man, so he sent me this, which is really cool because he knows I'm a big fan of these driving commercials. I always put them in my updates as, little interludes and shit like that. But you look like you could use a snack. We'll meet you in the lobby. I love these things, man. I love anything to do with driving commercials and all this type of thing, these intermissions and shit. They just always crack me up, man. But yeah, this is definitely why I picked this up. I've actually never seen any of these things around before, surprisingly. But yeah, I can dig it, man. So that's an intermission sign. Even has the little clips. I'm assuming that's probably how they hung it up. But yeah, I might even use it actually to hang it up so I don't have to. I don't know. But whatever. This is pretty cool. If I can find a place down here to put it, it's definitely going up sometime. Yeah, and he also picked me up a couple movies here. He picked me up Point Doom. Now, I want to say, now this is Zach being cheap, I swear. I swear he got this in from Dark Force Entertainment as a mistake, and he re-gifted it to me. I swear to God, that's what he did. I am not complaining at all because I do not own this. This actually looks pretty cool. It's from 1999, and I was thinking about it because at first I thought it was an 80s flick, but now looking at the artwork, it's just straight floating heads. So 1999, it fits right in that floating heads period. So plus the cast is insane. Richard Grieco from 21 Jump Street, Jennifer Odell, Andrew Dice Clay, the fucking Dice Man. John Enos the third, and Ice motherfucking T. That's an amazing cast, so I'm really curious to check this out. Really, how bad can it be? So that's cool. And he just went out of his business, man, and picked me up a fucking bonafide classic, Criterion of Roman Polanski's Repulsion. I'm absolutely floored by this. This is absolutely amazing. Yeah, anytime you gift a Criterion to somebody, man, you're a good buddy. So thanks, homie, man. I really, really appreciate this. The timing is perfect, too, because somebody actually just Patreon this film for me to review on the podcast soon. So this is going to come in handy because obviously I did not have a copy of it. So, yeah, if you've never seen Roman Polanski's Repulsion, you need to run out and grab 2 copies. And, of course, that's coming from the guy that just got a copy as a gift after all these years of being out. So don't even listen to me. But definitely, this is definitely a must-own because it's a masterpiece in my opinion, man. So, Repulsion. Thanks, Zach, for the gifts, man. I really, really appreciate that. That's amazing. So, big ups, homie. Okay, so getting into the stuff I picked up here, which is not a whole lot, but I did pick up 1 DVD this month. 1 DVD. Of course, it is from the Wild Eye Raw and Extreme line, Abduction 101. Again, you never know what you're going to get with these type of films. The quality on them varies so drastically from like indie garbage to like pretty high quality stuff to everything in between. It's really strange. You never know what you're going to get. This one actually doesn't look too bad. I'm not really the biggest fan of like abduction films, kind of captive abduction films. The subgenre I think has kind of played itself out a little bit, but this one could be okay. If you've seen it, if anyone's seen it, let me know your comments down below on it and stuff. I'm obviously going to be watching it sometime, so. But yeah, it's fucking wild. I had to go out and number these things, and I always say it, but you know, the numbers get me. Plus, you know, I don't really buy a whole lot of DVDs, so you know, keep the format alive. You know what I'm saying? All right, getting into the Blu-rays. Picked up Pulse. I don't know what really took me so long to grab this Blu-ray. Unless I already have it, I'm just like totally tripping balls. I don't think I actually ever picked this up, but from Mill Creek, transfer's really good on this, to be honest. It's one, it took me forever to upgrade, but I don't know why, because the price point on this is like $7-8 or some crazy shit, so it's like really damn cheap. And the transfer's way better than you think it would be for that price point, so. And I like this cover. I like the artwork that they used on this too. It's actually kind of cool. But yeah, Pulse, pretty cool. Picked up the 6-movie collection of Paranormal Activity. I've only ever seen the first movie, believe it or not, and I don't know. I never really cared for it. So I just have a feeling that this is going to get Patreon. We're going to end up doing these films when the new one comes out on the podcast sometime. So I figured, why not grab this? But it was more about the price point that really sold me, because the price point was like $17 on this for all 6 movies on 6 separate discs with all the cuts of the films too. So that's pretty interesting, having the theatricals and the extended cuts for all the films for $17. I mean, at this point, I don't really care. I even sold my DVDs that were still sealed. Whatever. This is amazing. That's a great deal. Next up, The Lighthouse from Robert Eggers. What can I say, man? This movie is fantastic. Definitely made my top 10 from last year. I think this movie is a little bit misunderstood right now. I think a lot of people aren't giving it the credit that it actually deserves, really. I mean, everyone sees it for being very artsy and very well acted and shot and stuff, but they're kind of looking at it as like 2 people in a lighthouse who get drunk and fart. There's actually a lot more to this than meets the eye, really. I actually really enjoy what they did here. It's really interesting. I think it's fantastic, man. So, but if you haven't seen The Lighthouse, check it out. Of course, it is in black and white because it is set in like the 1890s, I think, mid 1890s. It's actually shot at this lighthouse that it's just in Nova Scotia. I was actually there last summer where they shot this, so which I did not know at the time I was there. But yeah, The Lighthouse, very cool. Moving along to Lady Street Fighter, an upgrade for me from the AGFA line. Lady Street Fighter, man, not a great film, but it actually is pretty cool release because it actually comes with the 1990 sequel, Revenge of Lady Street Fighter, which I've never seen before. I've heard it's pretty bad too. I haven't seen Lady Street Fighter in a long time, so I'm looking to revisit this one. I didn't watch this Blu-ray yet, but yeah, I love this line, man. It's kind of reminds me of like Artsploitation, to be honest, because they release DVDs and Blu-rays in a numbered line, so you have like DVD, Blu-ray, and yeah, you guys get the picture. But Lady Street Fighter, pretty cool. Moving along to a couple. Mondo Macabros. My back is killing me. I've been shoveling today. Oh, it's been shit and snow in my fucking gym, and never mind. Mondo Macabros Bloodlust. One of the weirdest films from Switzerland. Like, this movie is actually on the Video Nasty Section 3 list. I guess for like decent reason. It probably made the list more to do with the title being called Bloodlust, but it is about this strange dude that is like he's a deaf mute. He works this like really shitty office job, and all of a sudden one day he kind of gets the hankering for the taste of blood. He loves the color red. Like, I think what happens is he spills ink and he's just like, oh yeah, the color red, man. But anyways, he starts breaking into, you know, funeral homes and basically sucking the blood, as you can see on the cover, out of corpses. Now, I don't work in the funeral business. I don't work in the embalming industry. But as far as I know, people that are sitting in coffins in the funeral homes have been embalmed, so there is no blood in there. I don't know what the fuck. I know this movie's in 1977, and I'm thinking they must have had that technology or those medical advances in treating corpses in Switzerland. It just didn't make any sense to me while I was watching. I was like, See, this body's like ready to go for the funeral, and you're just sucking blood out of it. That means the body's like rotting and shit. It's really strange to me that this is a thing. It even says it's like based on true events, which I highly doubt it is. Maybe he was doing like fresh corpses. I don't know. But it's a pretty entertaining movie, to say the least. It's actually kind of like it, man. It's just an oddball. It's just a really, really odd, fucking strange film. So, yeah, speaking of odd, strange films, The Killer at Dolls from Mondo Macabro. Great release from this is a Spanish film, 1974. Basically about this dude that like gets kicked out of medical school. He goes to live with the people that his parents actually work for. They're like living gardeners and shit like that. Anyways, his parents and stuff. As soon as he gets back from there, they decide that they're going on vacation. They leave him there and stuff. And of course, he's like a really fucking strange cat and shit like that. He's all afraid of blood, and you know, he has all these crazy visions of like dolls and shit. Then girls start winding up dead around this place, and you know, and of course the killer's wearing this mask and stuff. And you get to learn that, which actually says right on the back here, we get to learn that he was raised as a woman or raised as a little girl and stuff like that. But it's just it's a fucking trippy kind of psychological proto slasher in a sense, man. It really is a slasher. It's got really decent gore and just odd scenes, man. It's just a really, really oddball film all around. Shot well. I thought it was acted really well too, to be honest. It's a really, you know, a very typical thing of like European films too. There's a girl in this film. I don't know what her name is. Probably doesn't even say on the back here. I actually looked it up, but oh no, I don't know. Her name's on here somewhere. Imana De Santis, I think that was the girl. Maybe, I don't know. But she was like 16 in the movie. She was like a child actor. And there's a scene actually where she's laying on this bed and her boobs are hanging out. And I was like, dude, like, I'm pretty sure that girl's like 14 or 15. Turns out she was 16 in the movie. And I'm like, holy fuck. It just seems so young to be showing your tits in a film. It's crazy. But I also read that she died when she was like 30 in a car accident too, which is shitty because she was like really beautiful. But very oddball film, Killer at Dolls. I highly recommend this for people that really like strange ass films, but it's not confusing or anything. It's just a great psychological kind of look at somebody who's been more or less damaged as a child due to circumstances with parents and things like that and stuff. So Killer at Dolls, great film though. I really enjoyed it. Moving on to the Scream Factories, I finally picked up the Vagrant. I actually forgot that this was even released on Blu-ray. It was one that I just passed right over. I think I was kind of pissed off because Scream Factory at one point had said that they weren't going to release this on Blu-ray when they put it out in that, like, you know, one of those 4-packs and stuff. But I'm glad they did because the transfer's fantastic on this. It's really good. Not a feature to be found on this. Not even a fucking trailer. This is just crazy. Not like nothing for the Vagrant. Starring Bill Paxton. He plays this kind of clean-cut dude that moves into this neighborhood. He finally has the funds to buy a house and stuff. He moves in, and there's this crazy-ass vagrant living across the street from him who essentially starts to torture him a little bit. It's just... this movie goes crazy. Like, it just goes into places where you're like, what the fuck? Like... I like the whole Joe Dirt shit in this movie, man. When he gets the trailer park, the fucking mullet he has. Ah, shit, dude. This thing just goes batshit, man. I love Bill Paxton. I miss that guy. I wish he hadn't passed away because he was just such a fun actor, but it was a great movie, man. It was fun to revisit. Next up here, man, Body Parts from 93? 91. I think The Vagrant is from 93. 92, 93, something like that. So a couple 90s releases from Scream Factory. I'm very, very happy that it's finally got a release. Great upgrade from my VHS and stuff. So, starring Jeff Fahey. It's basically about this dude who gets into an accident. He loses his arm, and he gets like a donor arm. And, you know, he starts to, like, his personality starts to change and things like that. And his arm starts to go a little bit idle and starts doing things that he doesn't want it to do and stuff. So he looks into it a little bit more, and he learns that his arm actually came from a serial killer, and there was other people out there who had appendages from this serial killer. So there's a guy out there with like legs, another guy with an arm and shit, and they kind of like get together. And it's basically about this dude that's like ends up kind of killing off these guys that have these appendages and shit. It's just a weird and quirky and strange film. It's so much fun though. Great performances in it, actually. It's kind of over the top, but pretty gory. But I'm glad that this one finally got a re-release because it's been out of print and it's been going for stupid money. So now you can get the Blu-ray for a good price. Next up here from 74, Demons of the Mind, Hammer film released by, of course, Scream Factory. I've always said that this is like legitimately one of the better Hammer films out there. I really like the Hammer era of like 69, 7, like to like about this point with Hammer films, because this is really about the end. But they made a lot of great Hammer films right at the end of Hammer, which is interesting. But yeah, no, this movie right here it's kind of a trip. It's kind of psychological in a sense too, about this father, this baron who has got his kids kind of captive. He's kind of segregated his kids because he believes that the family's cursed and he doesn't want to pass this curse on to his kids. So, you know, he kind of keeps them all locked up and shit. And people girls start dying around the place and stuff. Kind of sounds like another film. And, you know, there's like these undertones of incest with the daughter and son and shit like that. And it's just a really good film, man. Great set pieces, great acting. I really like where this one goes, but, you know, awesome film, man. So, yeah, directed by Peter Skies. Great film. Another one from the 70s. I believe this is 71. Let's Scare Jessica to Death, which is almost like a psychological, supernatural oddity in a sense. Its ambiguity in this film is like, it's so overpowering, man, because there's so much going on in this movie. It's a really, really damn good film. And you know, in my opinion, it's one of the best films of the 70s. Truly, it is. Filmmaking, acting, just story, you know, the narrative, just the ambiguous, you know, drama to it and stuff. It's really interesting. I think this would be a great pairing with a film like Romero's Martin would be an interesting contrast piece to this. Put those two films together as a double feature, I think you'd have a really, really fucking interesting night. So definitely get you thinking a little bit. So, but Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I love this movie. It's phenomenal. It's really, really good. I picked up Dead of Winter. This is just an upgrade. I do own the MGM DVD. I never grabbed this one because I'm not really truly the hugest fan of it. I do want to revisit it. But of course I checked the out of print list and this was going out of print. I was like, fuck it, I might as well grab it. It was only $15 anyway. So I was like, shit, it's cheap. So might as well grab it before it actually goes out of print. And I'm like, I want it now, because that's just the way our collector minds work, isn't it? Something goes out of print or it's going out of print, you got to buy it even though you don't really want it. What the fuck do we do? What are we doing with our lives? But Dead of Winter, man. I just remember it's not really a horror film. It is more or less like a thriller kind of thing, but it's been a while. It's been a while. This is a strange movie. The Final Program, not really showing up a whole lot there because it's really yellow and it's just, yeah. So The Final Program is like a British kind of sci-fi thriller film about these dude that's trying to get back this microfilm that holds the formula for replicating humans and stuff, because we're kind of at the, you know, the end of days and stuff, the apocalypse and shit like that. So if it actually does happen and they want to be able to, you know, replicate and continue the human race and shit like that, it's a weird film because it plays out kind of like a spoof a little bit, or like, I don't know, man. It's got really dark tones and dark comedy to it. And it's just an oddball film. You know, it's that British humor. It's kind of dry, but then you're like, you kind of chuckle at things, and then it goes just batshit at the end. It's not a bad movie. I don't think I really fully grasped the humor in it. I can tell there's a lot of satire here, and it's satiring like serious things, but I don't know if it's a timepiece. It's something I'm definitely going to have to watch again sometime. I think there is actually, yeah, The Last Days of Man on Earth. I think that's the American release title for the film right there, which is, I mean, it kind of makes sense once you watch the movie, but honestly, I do like this title and this artwork better, but yeah. Next up here, we got The Mummy Shroud, another Hammer film. It's a typical mummy movie, man. You know, some people say some words and shit, and it resurrects this fucking mummy, and then people start dying and shit. Man, I don't know what it is about mummy films, but I tend to like convince myself that I love mummy films, and then I watch one and I'm like, well, that was a little bit disappointing. And then I'm like, get all excited when another mummy film comes around and I watch it. I'm like, well, that was disappointing. Like, fucking man, it's not a bad movie. It's just kind of disappointing because it seems like every Mummy movie basically has the same type of storyline. Like they either get resurrected somehow, they're going around. It's the same shit over and over again with very similar settings and shit like that too. But it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just a little bit boring at times. I really do like the, you know, the setting's actually really good. I mean, it's a decent Hammer film. It's a decent Hammer film. Definitely not my favorite Mummy film, but yeah. Picked up Deadringers, Cronenberg's Deadringers. So after we did the David Cronenberg director spotlight on the podcast, I just kind of got in the mood for rewatching some Cronenberg films, and I do own this on DVD, so I wanted to upgrade because I'd never picked up the Scream Factory, obviously, until now, and I was like, well, I might as well grab it now, and I was totally expecting not to get a slipcover because this thing came out like 3 or 4 years ago. Lo and behold, I still have a slipcover, so this thing must have sold like shit. If I'm getting a slipcover all these years later, Jesus. But yeah, you know, it's got, of course, the classic artwork right there that we all know and love. Pretty cool film, man. It's, you know, I will say it's a little bit long-winded. It's a little bit slower, but it's an interesting character study, and it's very psychological. It's got a lot of interesting things happening in it. This one's definitely not for everybody. It's a little bit different for Cronenberg. This is like a later Cronenberg where he was really changing his style of films a little bit. I mean, there's still a lot of elements of Cronenberg in here, the whole doctor angle and the body stuff and things like that. It's there, but he was going for a little bit more, I shouldn't say substance, all his movies have lots of substance, but he was going for a little bit more oomph in this one. A little more character study, which is interesting, but lo and behold, still a good film. It's got a batshit ending, man. It's good shit. And last up from Scream Factory, I picked up the Steelbook of Slumber Party Massacre. It's kind of funny because I just rewatched all 3 films, I think the day before, 2 days before I got this in the mail. Whatever, I'll end up watching this again. I did want it because it's got a new scan, and I'm not even a Steelbook collector, but Slumber Party Massacre is actually one of my favorite slashers of all time. It's probably my top 5. I actually really love the whole trilogy. I know a lot of people don't like Part 2 and they hate Part 3, whatever it is, what it is, but I think they're all fun as hell. I used to hate Part 2, because it was just so odd. It was like this rockabilly, supernatural slasher fucking weirdness. But then I just grew to love it, man. It's just so cheesy and awesome. But Summer Party Massacre, still haven't even opened this up. But yeah, it'll get watched again. I usually watch it a couple times a year as it is. So, but yeah, that's it for the Scream Factories, which has been very prevalent in all my updates. I've been grabbing so much because they've just been putting out lots of good stuff. And they're easy to get. So, moving on to a few Kinos. And actually, the rest of the stuff is not even horror, so that's it for that. First up here, we got The Specialist, directed by Sergio Corbucci. Now, if you ever see a spaghetti western and it has Corbucci's name on it, you should probably check it out because they're always really damn good. You know, it's very much. A lot of spaghetti westerns have very similar storylines. I won't lie, but it's just basically in how they execute them and stuff. It's about this dude that comes to this town to more or less revenge his brother's death and find out the real facts behind his brother's death, because his brother was apparently part of this bank heist that went wrong and shit like that. And then there's a whole pile of like corrupt people involved in all this shit. So he comes to town to fuck shit up and stuff. Johnny Holloway. It's good shit, man. It's Corbucci. It's shot well. It's got lots of fucking gunslinging and shit. Great music in it. Actually, you know what? Morricone didn't do this one. He did the other one. But yeah, great film though. Really enjoyed The Specialist. Hellbenders with Joseph Cotten. This is a cool one, man. It's got that whole kind of Confederate, you know, stealing shit from the Union and shit like that. It's actually really damn cool, man. I like the idea of these guys massacring this Union carriage and stealing all this money and shit, and they basically put all this money into a coffin, and they have to transport it back to, you know, to their home base and shit like that. And it's basically the journey of them trying to get it there and shit, because, you know, all the officers and everyone's looking for them because they massacred these people and stuff. It's really fun, man. It's great. Lots of good shit going on in this one. And actually, yeah, Morricone. Did Morricone do this one? No, he did not do this. He did that one. Yeah, so another one by Sergio Corbucci. Amazing. Yeah, Morricone did the music in this one. Kill 'Em All and Come Back Alone. That is one fucking amazing title. Starring Chuck Connors. You cannot go wrong with this. directed by Enzo G. Casarelli, and music by no, I'm tripping balls, man. Fuck, he did the one on The Specialist, I believe. Yeah, I think. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about here. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. All I know is this movie is phenomenal. It's another one of these kind of Confederates who need to, they want to steal all this gold from the Union and shit like that, and it just goes haywire because, you know, Chuck Connors and his crew, and everyone in his crew is like a fucking bunch of dumb shits, and they keep double crossing each other, and it goes fucking haywire. There's like so much craziness in this movie. It's just awesome, man. When they get to this jail scene, like, oh fuck, it's just gnarly, man. This is a fantastic movie. This is, you know, out of the three, and these were all great, man. All these new releases from Kino, if you're into spaghetti westerns, definitely pick this one up. The Corbucci ones are awesome too, but this is like, they're all must-haves, but this one right here is just phenomenal. It's great. I absolutely love those. Last one here from Kino is Someone Behind the Door. I'd never seen this movie before, and it's surprising because Charles Bronson and Anthony Perkins are actually two of my legit favorite actors of all time. I love almost everything I've seen them in. I love Bronson. I think he's just phenomenal. And there's something about Anthony Perkins, the way he acts, and I don't know, he's like amazing to me. So when I came across this like a long time ago, I never picked it up. I was like, I need to see this movie. I'm glad that Kino gave it a release because it's a great film, man. So Anthony Perkins he's like a psychiatrist, and he finds out that his wife is kind of cheating on him and shit, and his wife has kind of made his career kind of, you know, go down the shitter and stuff like that. So he ends up meeting this Charles Bronson character who has amnesia, and he ultimately tries to convince that Charles Bronson is married to Perkins' wife to essentially have her killed. So it's like a perfect alibi. He's working out this perfect alibi and shit. It's really cool, man. I really enjoyed this film. Bronson, it's like a totally different type of role for him, but at the same time, it's actually not. It's an interesting film, but both performances are great. Anthony Perkins knocks it out the park as usual, and, you know, Bronson's awesome. But I highly recommend this great film. And got a couple more here. I picked up Wonder Woman, new DC film, the Bloodlines prequel, I believe. It is a prequel, I believe. Still need to check this one out. I actually haven't even seen the other Wonder Woman, but I was kind of waiting to get this so I could kind of double feature them one day. But, yep, got to grab another one of the DC Universe movies to add to the ever-growing collection. Pretty much have them all now. And I had to do it, man, because it's Arnie, and I forgot how fucking fun this movie is, man. Last Action Hero, man. Dude, this movie's so much fun, and I forgot how long it is, too. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes for an action film. It's crazy, but it kind of makes sense because it's set in like two different worlds. Like, it's set in the movie world, and it's set in reality, and it's got so many cameos, and it's a fun 90s Arnie film. I just rewatching this just rekindled my love for this movie. I've forgotten how much I love this movie because I used to really dig it, and then I just forgot about it. And then we got this pretty cool release from Mill Creek, you know, the whole VHS kind of retro thing, and so I'm not collecting these or anything, but I thought this was really neat. And yeah, Last Action Hero, man, gotta have it in the collection. And last up for the small ass update, and it still went a half an hour because I talked too much, is of course Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, new Quentin Tarantino movie. I saw this in the theater. I have not actually rewatched the Blu-ray yet. Just, you know, it's 3 hours. I'll obviously get around to rewatching it and stuff, but I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really interesting take on the time period, you know, the Hollywood, you know, in the time and stuff, which is kind of more or less at the end of the golden age of Hollywood and stuff, because this place takes place obviously in 1969, the same year of the Marilyn Manson murders. Of the Marilyn Manson murders. Wow. Of the Manson murders. Charlie Manson murders. Yeah, it's really interesting. I love the end of the movie. I thought it's great. And, you know, everyone knocks out the park, man. You know, Margot Robbie, she does a great job, man. She does a really great job in her role. And, of course, DiCaprio and Pitt. Just amazing stuff. There's a really great scene with DiCaprio and this little girl. That just sounds bad if I leave it like that, right? But they're just kind of rehearsing lines and shit. It's great. I love it. But good film. I know a lot of people were disappointed with this, but you know what? Tarantino has yet to disappoint me in any of his movies, and I don't think he ever will, because I don't think he's going to stop after his next one. So, but that is the whole entire update. Wow, I don't remember last time I did an update in 30 minutes. That's crazy. That's really, really crazy. It actually is bigger than, you know, even for normal people, they usually have probably half these movies, but this just seems really fucking tiny to me. But it's still a decent update. Yeah, maybe it's kind of a good thing I didn't get the rest. I mean, I actually don't really have that much coming. I know I have some Vinegar Syndromes coming. The 4K scan of House by the Cemetery, which I don't know where the fuck is, man. That shipped like 3.5 weeks ago, man. It's crazy. It's not here yet. But anyways, I'm just blabbering on. My back's fucking killing me because I hate shoveling, and I don't know why I do it, because I have a snowblower and I'm an idiot because I like to just work out apparently now. So but anyways, check you guys in the next update. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave me your thoughts and comments if you've seen any of these movies that I didn't already see, or if you have thoughts on them, if you liked them or not. Give a thumbs up if you do like it. If you don't like the video, thumbs down is more than welcome. I absolutely love the thumbs downs. I think they're great. So check you guys later, guys.